Happy holidays, everybody. Happy Christmas Eve. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you guys celebrate. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial, and this is another edition of my life. And
Oh
once
wow.
again, not only am I broadcasting live on my channel, I am Dial, but I am once again broadcasting to you live on Movie Madness and Entertainment. And joining with me today, once again, I am joined by Mad Max himself. How's it going, Max?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just trying to stay warm. Yes, if you're watching on MME, DL is a part of Team MME. We wish him success. He's inching close to 500 subs, but he could get there faster with your help. So it's in the pinned comment, and if you're watching on the replay, it's in the description. Go support this man.
Yes, yes. To those of you who are new, who for some reason don't know who I am, well, I'll quit the quick rundown for the Movie Madness Entertainment fans. I am DL. I talk about movies and shows and everything in the nerdy geek culture. I talk about a whole bunch of things on my channel, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Marvel, DC, Disney, Netflix stuff. We talk about it all. So if you want to hear my crazy takes on things, and if you enjoy what you listen here tonight, yes, go ahead, check out my channel. I have the link in the description below, so you can check out my channel and subscribe if you like everything that you're seeing. And for everyone that is tuning in live on my channel, I'll put a link in the description to Mad Max's channel, Movie Madness and Entertainment. He also talks about movies, obviously. Title says it all. He also covers movie news. He pretty much covers everything that I cover. So, and I pop up every now and then on his streams quite often actually as of late. So you may see me pop up on there. You never know. There's crazy stuff on there. Other members of MME and other YouTubers pop on as well. So it's all great stuff. But tonight, tonight we're finally going to be talking about it. Today we are going to have our discussions and thoughts on Avatar: The Way of
Hmm.
Water. This is the movie that both of us were really excited to see. Both of us are really big fans of this Avatar franchise, and I know that's not the most popular thing to say as of late, but we don't care. We're here to talk about it. Finally, here on Christmas Eve, we talk about Avatar: The Way of Water. So those of you who don't know, I did already do a spoiler stream on the original Avatar. It is on my channel. If you guys want to check out my thoughts on the original Avatar movie, check out my channel. You'll see it there. But anyway, enough of those shenanigans. Let's get into this movie. And as always, and if you haven't paid attention to the title, this is a spoiler filled discussion. We're going to be talking about this movie as if you've already seen it. So, if you're one of the few people out there that still has not seen Avatar: The Way of Water by now and you don't want to know anything, I suggest you guys go see it in theaters and check out this replay for the stream if you don't want to know anything. I'm sure there's some of you out there that are watching the stream that are not going to see the movie, which I don't understand you people. You guys, you're just going to watch the spoiler stream anyway because you don't care about this film. Whatever you want to do, it's your prerogative. But at this point, you have been warned. So, to give our quick rundowns, on the first Avatar. Um, I personally love the first Avatar. It's one of my favorite sci-fi films, and it's on my top uh, favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I know that's crazy for people to hear that, and I've heard the criticisms so many times about, oh, it's Dances with Wolves, it's
Yeah.
Fern Gully, it's
Yeah, it is. It
Pocahontas.
is though, but lots of stuff borrows from, name a movie that doesn't borrow something. Uh,
Exactly. It's like not most movies aren't that original. Even the movies that you think are original, it copied off of something.
Most likely. Yeah.
Yeah. And even I will admit, as much as I love the first movie, I will admit, is the story the most groundbreaking thing I've ever seen? No, but I did not expect that from Avatar. I don't know why people were expecting such a complicated story from Avatar. Maybe because everyone just saw like how this was the biggest box office movie of all time, and it like changed how we look at special effects. I guess they were expecting the story to be like this complicated, groundbreaking story that will have you question the nature of our reality and get into your psyche and all that stuff. Like, I don't know why they expected that, because like with James Cameron, who is also one of my favorite filmmakers, even if you go back to his previous work like Titanic, Terminator, um, Aliens, like even those movies don't have the most complicated plot. They're pretty straightforward, So it's like that's what I kind of appreciate with James Cameron's storytelling. Like it is simple stories, but it's very effective, and it has nuances in its story that make it more interesting. And of course, it goes without saying that the special effects in the first Avatar is groundbreaking, and it holds up.
Yeah.
I saw the re-release.
I did not.
Oh, you did not? Oh
No,
man,
no.
and that was the first time I saw the first Avatar in IMAX 3D, because when it came out in 2009, I wasn't able to see it in IMAX 3D, so I got to see it in IMAX 3D with the updated effects, and man, yep, it still holds up. It's fantastic. So the sequel, I've been saying for the longest time that, in my opinion, I think this is a movie that should have came out much sooner than it did. Because like the first movie came out
I,
in 2009, as we
I'm
said.
good. I'm good with the amount of time. It's like almost nostalgia now too. It's like when Star Wars finally came back. It's like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I understand why he took his time, because he wanted he wanted to be able to put in the production and the effects that will, they wanted the effects to be up to date, I guess. And he wanted to take his time with, making sure everything was perfect, which I understand his reasoning. However, I think I think the Avatar franchise would have been able to capitalize better on, the fan base and like
Mhm.
getting into the pop culture more if the sequel came out sooner. Like I think this is a movie that should have came out at the very least in 2015. Even though that's the same year that The Force Awakens would come out, so I don't know if they want to mess with competition there, but just even so, it's like, there's another thing that people criticize is that Avatar didn't really leave an impact when it comes to the pop culture. It didn't leave any cultural impacts. And I'm like, that's the thing I don't really care about with movies. Like, I don't care if like you don't see a whole bunch of merchandise for Avatar, or if it's referenced from other shows and whatever, or like that never really mattered to me. But they do have a point, I think one of the reasons is because they waited so long for a sequel, and for it to be the highest grossing film of all time, you would think they would capitalize on the movie quicker. But regardless, 13 years later, we're finally here. This is a project that James Cameron has been working on for the longest time, so much so that other films that he's been connected with or produced, he wasn't able to do because he was working on Avatar. So he wasn't able to do Alita Battle Angel. So he had Robert Rodriguez directed and he produced that. And then Terminator Dark Fate, he didn't end up coming back for that. He got what was it? Ted Miller, TJ Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
forget his name too. I think it's something Miller, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I really like the lead of Battle Angel, and I'm one of the people that did like Terminator Dark Fate, but I felt like both of those movies suffered because James Cameron wasn't directly involved with those
Mhm.
in the filmmaking stuffs. But it's like all this stuff that he was attached to was compromised because he was working on this Avatar movie. So there was a lot of expectations going in, not only being a sequel to the greatest film of all time, but the fact that he's working on this for so long, people were expecting this to be like the greatest one of the greatest films out there, like to surpass the original, be something mind-blowing when it comes to the effects, all of that stuff. um and apparently not only is he working on this movie, but we're about to get 3 more sequels after this.
Well, it depends on the box office.
That is correct.
I mean, the box office is healthy for this movie, but we really got to see where this ends at. Definitely, you're definitely getting the third one. Definitely getting the third one.
Yeah, that one's in the can. That one's almost done. So regardless of what
And
happens,
they actually did, from what I've heard, James Cameron I hope this isn't spoilers for the future, but he did film some of the scenes with the younger cast, because by the time they get to them, they like some of these performances are 4 years old. Like Eddie Falco or whatever
Yeah,
her name is from Sopranos. She
right.
said, I filmed this 4 years ago. So they filmed some of the scenes with the younger cast because they didn't know when they were going to actually get to 4 and 5. So some of that's actually done too.
Right, right. So like that's very smart of Cameron to like actually, while he has his actors there, like he thought ahead about getting people in to film some scenes for future movies in case they weren't able to get them back in time, or if the child actors got older and it wouldn't be consistent. So very smart on Cameron. Like not a lot of people think that far ahead. But to go back to what you were talking about with the box office, because this movie, because I think even this movie was supposed to come out sooner than 2022, because of course we all know we went through the pandemic and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So I think this movie was supposed to come out around 2018, 2019, 2020 or something like that, around that time, but the pandemic hit, and so it got pushed back even further. And I think because of that, the budget of this film got even higher. I think it started at like around 200, $250 million, and like there's speculation of where the budget is
I
now,
think
but
I heard like 600 million, or maybe that's with marketing. I don't know.
there is no way.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like I could see it being like at most around $300 million or something like that, or 400 if we want to
Well,
push it, but
let me
six
go
hundred million dollars,
let me
no
Google.
film, no film would like let that slide. Like being $600 million. But
Well,
Wild Max,
I think the way James Cameron gets around it is because he always is pushing new technology, that the like TV companies, the projector companies, they invest in the film or something too, or he gets some type of credits from these companies. I don't know.
I
Uh
guess. I mean, anything is possible, but I mean, Wild Max is looking that up. So I guess I guess with the studio's expectations, and now that Fox is or 20th Century Studios now is owned by Disney, because Fox and 20th Century did the first movie. I guess now they're expecting this movie to do so well at the box office, like so like close. They would like for this movie to make almost as much as the first movie, which I think is impossible because, like, for one thing, the first movie had a bunch of re-releases to the point where it could get to that $2 billion mark, and also because I I think it's with the first movie, like it was the first of its kind, I would say, as far as the special effects and how much it pushed the boundaries of 3D and stuff like that. Like it would be tough to capture the same magic, even though like we have no doubt the effects will be just as good, if not better. But like for something to come out that like was so monumental at the time, it's like it's hard to capture lightning in the bottle twice. But yeah, on top of the fact that it got re-released because it was, playing catch up with Endgame numerous times. Like Endgame get re-released, and then Avatar get re-released, and then Endgame get re-released again, and then Avatar get re-released again. So it's like, I don't know if Avatar 2 is going to get a whole bunch of re-releases like the first movie, especially with the sequels coming out every other year. But
well, I googled. It says there's no publicly available definitive answer to the exact dollar amount, but overall the film is reported to have cost Disney 350 million, according to Variety. So
okay,
at least 350 million. I don't know where I heard 600. I mean, I think with marketing, there's a lot of marketing for Avatar 2, but nowhere it wouldn't double for marketing. So maybe it's like 350 to 400 million, maybe 500 million when you consider marketing, is my guess.
right. So let's say that the movie is like at 350 million. Like the rule of thumb for movies, for how much movies should make at the box office, they well, and this is not including marketing, but like they would have to make at least 3 times its budget to break even.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say if this is $350 million, so it would mean that it would have to make around the money of 900 million to $1 billion to make a profit, which I think it's about to get $1 billion now, and it's only its second weekend. So I think that'll be a cakewalk for Avatar. But like, that's just nuts. That to just to break even, to make a profit, it has to make $1 billion.
Well, I
You
I
know?
also heard that don't be read too much into the box office, because this is one that people want their first experience to be the best experience possible, and there's only so many premium format screens. So even
Yeah,
though the box office isn't like on fire, people might be really booking up the premium format screens and not be seeing on the lesser quality screens, you know?
that is true.
So that's a possible scenario that this might be like an evergreen at theaters. This might be a movie that's there 2, 3, 4 months and just constantly being booked in the premium IMAX, or the, I don't know what the other terms they use, HDX or
4DX,
40.
Dolby Atmos,
Yeah.
like
So
yeah,
that it's possible that this might be an evergreen for that format, because you're not going to experience that at home.
true. And also considering the fact that another thing we haven't mentioned that this movie was over 3 hours long, 3 hours and 12 minutes. So you're already gonna have limited screenings for it. So yeah, just a lot of things riding high with this movie. But regardless, we were really excited to see this movie. We were excited to get back into the world of Pandora with Jake Sully, Neytiri, and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of expectations for this movie. So overall, how many times have you seen this movie already, Max?
Once.
Once. I've seen it
I
twice.
don't know if I'm going to see it again. I do really want to, because of but there's just so much content I need to catch up on. Maybe if I hear it's going to leave theaters, then that'll trigger me to go see it again.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. The first time was in IMAX 3D, and the second time was in regular 3D. And then I plan to see it again with some friends because a couple of my friends still haven't been able to see it, and I'm going to see it in 2D. So I'm going to get a full experience there. But anyway, um, first two times watching it and able to process everything. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I
Mm-hmm.
really liked it. Man, I miss being in Pandora, man. Like it was just so great to get back into this world again. I had such a good time with this movie. It felt like we never left, and I thought overall the new part of Pandora that we were able to spend time with the reef people, the water Navi. I thought all that was interesting. It was great to you know get back with these characters again and be introduced to the new characters as well. But but I don't know if I enjoyed this more than the first movie.
I like the first one more as well, but I love this movie. It's
Yeah,
just I like it starting on Earth, and the journey from Jake. Also, is very interesting that his twin died, and that if people forget the beginning of the story for Jake, he's just like, he's a vet. Like, then he loses legs, and he seems a little depressed if you look at the watch the director's cut,
yeah,
and he's just like thrown into this. I kind of like that type aspect where he's thrown into it just by circumstances. Like, he would have never been there if his brother
yeah,
didn't pass. I kind of like that. And then I like that he started potentially more, it's not selfish to want to get your legs back and everything, but more of a selfish journey to a selfless one, like from the beginning to the end. And the battles and everything, I just, I love the first one.
yeah. I feel like overall the first one had a more focused story. Um, this movie, like, it was trying to introduce a lot of things, and I don't know. I just felt like it was a lot to absorb, and also I heard this criticism that it felt like a rehash of the first movie. I'm not gonna go that far and say it feels like a complete rehash, but there definitely were plot points and elements that felt like they were retreading plot points from the first movie, and I was hoping for stuff to be a little bit more original, since that's one of the biggest criticisms that people have with the first movie. Um, Also, I felt like there was certain stuff, certain plot points we're gonna get into that I felt like wasn't really necessary with the main plot at hand. Like I see what James Cameron was trying to do metaphorically, because like we all know he's big on nature, and like these movies are pretty much are allegories to tell you that you should be more conscious of nature and like the animals and stuff like that, and of course the water and stuff like that. Now this movie's called The Way of Water, so like the aquatic life and everything, we all know that James Cameron is all about that.
He
But
loves whales. Their whaling is still an issue, especially in Asian countries right now.
that is true. That's very true. That was one of the plot points that I felt like was I didn't love. I mean, I didn't hate it either, but I was like, I could take it or leave it. The biggest thing
I
about this,
I like all these. I like that each volume of this series is probably going to have something, like you said, an allegory for nature and protecting nature. Each one is going to have something there, and I like the Navi whales.
I mean, I thought the Navi whales were cool, but it's just like it was that portion of the movie that I started to feel the movie's pacing, which is one of the other issues I had was I didn't think this movie needed to be 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Hmm.
I thought it was too long. Was I bored? No, but there were a couple of points where I did really start to feel the runtime, and like I know James Cameron feels like he's on top of the world, that no one can touch him and nobody can tell him anything, but at least in my opinion, I felt like with this movie, he still had something to prove, because he knows that there are haters out there of the first movie, and a lot of people doubting that about this franchise, and I feel like he needed this time to like focus more with just getting the story really tight and having the character dynamics really good, so people would be invested in a Avatar 3 and an
Mhm.
Avatar 4 and Avatar 5. I think he's baking too much on the fans of the original, instead of trying to bring new people in. And I say this because, as I said before, it was 13 years since the first movie, and for a good amount of the movie going audience, I mean, not everybody, because it's still the biggest grossing film of all time, but for certain moviegoers, this is a movie that people didn't even think about for the longest time.
Mhm.
So this almost feels like a reintroduction to Pandora, which I guess is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it should have been more than just a reintroduction of Pandora. Like, give us a reason why this needs to be a franchise. Why is this the biggest film of all time? Like, was it luck that the first movie was so successful? James Cameron needed to prove that. So I just think he needed it to be a little more focused. If they cut out like 12 minutes, like if it was at right at 3 hours, I would have been okay with it. But there was 12 minutes of the movie, maybe a little bit more, where I was
Well,
like,
this
yeah,
seemed like the director's cut right away. Like, there's the two versions of the first Avatar. It seems like he just didn't cut anything.
yeah,
Are you
I'll be,
open to answering some questions toward the end? I'll star them if you want. If anyone wants to get a few questions in, maybe
yeah,
in the comments.
if you want to save them, and then we can address them as
Sure,
the
sure.
stream goes on. But but yeah, anyway, while Max is doing that, we could start let's start with the stuff that the obvious stuff. Like, let's get the obvious, the positive stuff out of the way, because there's a lot of positives about this movie. Goes without saying. Let's get this out the way, because everyone has talked about this already, and I'm sure this is a no-brainer for everyone. Yes, the effects, the CGI, all that, the motion capture, it's fantastic. It is incredible. It I didn't think it. If you thought this movie couldn't look better than the first film, you're wrong. Like, within the first few frames, I was like, wow, this was
Hmm.
amazing. Jesus. It got to the point where I literally forgot that we're watching people in motion capture. It looked that real. Like there are times where they do close-ups on the Navi's like face or like whatever parts of their body, and you just see the texture of their skin, you see the pores, you see the texture of their hair, the emotion in their eyes, like their expressions, like just how they're interacting. It's like it literally feels like James Cameron took a spaceship, went to a different planet, and hired some aliens to become actors and filmed them right in that planet. It feels like he actually filmed actual aliens, and
Mhm.
it's incredible. It's amazing. Like it's so groundbreaking. And as I saw this in IMAX 3D. This is one of the best IMAX 3D experiences I've ever seen.
Yes.
Like,
Definitely the best for me. The
and
best.
I wouldn't argue it if people thought it was the
Well, I
best.
don't know if mine was IMAX. It's more like one of those extreme screens or something. It was the IMAX pick size, but I don't know
Yeah,
if it was technically IMAX. But yeah, the 3D did not give me a headache. All the trailers ahead of it were okay 3D. Like the one that kind of looked fun was the Super Mario one 3D was right before it. But
yeah.
once that 3D started, the screen got bigger. And Layla, because of the holidays, we're not doing the to the max tonight. We'll come back next week. This
Yep.
is a spoiler discussion hosted by DL of Avatar 2 Way of Water.
Yep.
So
You stuck with me tonight, but don't worry, we're gonna have some fun. But yeah, so I will say for if there's people that are wondering which is the best experience to watch this, obviously, oh hello Eddie. Um, he just did his streams on his channel and also on MME, so check out his stream as well. He was talking about DC and like the DC movies coming out next year. Um, yeah, I'm sure it's been covered to death on MME. But anyway, back to back to more less controversial things. But so for people who are wondering what is the optimal way of watching this, I would say IMAX 3D. I probably is the best experience for you to watch this. If you want to see it in regular 3D, you can. I will say that the regular 3D wasn't as good as the IMAX 3D, and
okay.
I'm sure that's not a given. But for me, when I watched it in regular 3D, I noticed that the tint was a little darker than it was with IMAX, and that's one of the things that irritates me about when back in the 3D era when everyone was post converting stuff. Like you felt like the movie looked darker than what it actually was. Now it wasn't like it didn't feel like post conversion. Like it didn't give me a headache. Like it still was good, but it just felt like if you want the really bright like experience and stuff like that, I would say do it in IMAX because like the 3D was so good. Like there were shots where the movie was in the rain or like somebody's like shooting a gun or whatever or like the flying creatures are there and it's like it feels like you're in the movie, I would say. So like that, even with the opening 20th Century Studios logo, I felt like I was in the movie already. So like I would say that's the optimal experience is
Mhm.
IMAX 3D. Dolby, I've heard some weird stuff about the frame rates, I guess, was weirder in those type
The
of
high frame.
showings. Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I have yet to see it in 2D. So I'm sure 2D will be fine. But
I honestly dread seeing this movie at 2D.
you dread it.
Yeah, because I think it'll still be good, but just seeing like I have a 3D TV still. I'm one of the few that actually has it. I
Oh, wow.
kept I kept my 3D it's mounted on my wall. I don't know what I'm gonna do when that stops working because it's been working for like 5-6 years now. And like I don't really want to watch this one in 2D ever.
Yeah, I get why you say that cuz like the one of the I could think the one of the things that are disadvantages about the Avatar movies, as great as they are, they feel optimal in the theater. They are theatrical experiences. So watching them in any other format, whether you're at home or whether you have a projector, not to say that the picture will be bad, but it's just like the experience of Avatar is best it's best for in the theater in 3D. You know, like it was made for you to feel like a part of that world. So it's like, you know, I hope there's a way that James Cameron in the future can figure out a way to format these movies or this universe in a way that you will get an optimal experience if you watch this at home. But it's really difficult. These were made for the movies. So could you imagine, like, when we were in the heart of the streaming wars and people and like movies were being released day and date or whatever, or they'd be released 3 months or a month after the movie comes out in theaters? Could you imagine them doing this to this movie, like day and date, like they did with WB in 2021 with all their movie releases?
I think with this one they haven't announced any date, have they? That when it's going to be in streaming? It's just like,
yeah, there was like, streaming, what is that? Like, no. So I'm so glad they didn't even consider that. Like, they knew how important this movie was to be released in theaters.
yeah.
But yeah, it goes without saying, like, the effects are amazing. I like the new, like we said before, just the new side of Pandora with the reef people and the whales and the aquatic creatures, like their overall home. It's really really cool. Like, I will say, like, this is a scene that not much happens in this scene, but I will say, like, when Jake and Neytiri and the kids first come to the reef people's place and they're on that, like, that beach side or whatever, and like they're first being introduced, like, I just couldn't help but look at the screen and just be like in awe of what I was watching, because everything looks so beautiful, man, so gorgeous. Just
I
scene.
do have a criticism.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love fantastic designs for alien creatures, and I'm beginning to feel like things are looking samey in the design. Like, I hate even using that. That's not a real word, samey, but the skin, like the tight skin, like all the creatures looks very similar. Like, even the pterodactyl type flying creatures look similar to the ones underwater with the head.
Yeah.
And I would really like some more diversity in the character designs, like in the next one. Like, if you go to a different region, ooh, got a drink ready.
Oh, look at you.
Thank you, little movie perp. $5 super chat. And I'll let you, DL, know how that works if you multi-stream on my channel later. I'll let you know about that. Avatar 5, hear me out. The planet is alive. It begins to move towards Earth, freaking out world leaders. Planet versus planet, baby. Let's go.
See, yeah, if you guys watch James Cameron's interviews, he was giving teases of what Avatar 4 and Avatar 5 would be, and he said that Avatar 5, I guess this is kind of a spoiler for 5 now, because I don't know why he would reveal this, but he wants to try and get Neytiri to Earth, and I'm like, oh wow, that's gonna be nuts.
Yeah,
to get
that's a spoiler that she lives all through that too.
Yep, she survives through all these movies.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's crazy. Also, he also talked about, like, he didn't really give like story details about 4, but he was talking about when he was writing the scripts for these movies and he would send it to the studio for notes. He said that by the time he got to the 4th movie, this when they looked at the script for Avatar 4, the studio was like, holy shit. And then James Cameron was like, oh cool, well, where's the notes? And he's like, those are the notes. Holy shit. I was like, okay, what is holy shit about Avatar 4?
Actually, I believe it was holy F.
Oh, holy fuck. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true. Holy fuck. Those were the notes. So I want to know what was it in that script that made the studio go, holy fuck. So insane stuff must be going down by the time we get to 4. So I want to see all that for sure.
Well,
but
Jared's Bowman, but what if in the future, if they finish the Avatar on Pandora movies and then it becomes a universe and there's a whole nother planet, I mean, let's think about the future. If this is the most successful if it continues to be an extremely successful franchise, say like George Lucas handed it off to a different generation to make Star Wars for better or for worse. Same could be said for Avatar, and it could be a whole universe, different planets. Who did Battle Angel Alita?
Robert
What's
Rodriguez.
his? Yeah, he might hand it off to Rodriguez. He might hand it off to Guillermo del Toro to make some movies. You don't know.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro
Him and
directed
him.
Avatar movie. Oh,
Him and James are pretty tight.
that would be insane if they could get Guillermo to do these. But I do agree with you that the creature designs, they could be more creative with that. Even with the first movie, like there were creatures that felt very similar to animals that we have in real life. You know, like horses and
they all have that tight, like
pterodactyls.
the tight skin, like the aquatic type shiny skin.
Yeah.
Like I'd maybe like to see a creature with fur or something. You know what I mean? Or scales or
Yeah.
or feathers, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I hope in the future movies they try to be a little bit more creative with that. But anyway,
how dare you, sir? Oh, Michael Bay Avatar movie.
No, I won't watch it. No, I don't care if James Cameron's producing it. Do not give Michael Bay the Avatar films. Do not.
I have to say, I guessed 2 spoilers before I saw the movie.
Oh, you did?
I said, people made fun of me. I said, Kiri is going to have powers almost like a Jedi, which she kind of started to have.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, she's almost like a Jedi. And then I said, and again, massive spoiler warning. I said, what's the human boy's name?
Spider.
I said he's going to be Korch's son.
Yeah. Oh, you called that?
Yep.
Oh wow, good job. But yeah, I guess we can start talking about the characters then. Let's get Jake and Neytiri out the way. Jake and Neytiri, I thought were really good in this movie. Jake specifically, I thought he was better than what he was in the first movie. I did like him in the first film, but like he did feel like he had a typical development of the reluctant hero, someone just someone out of their element, kind of a fish out of water story. Him learning the ways of the Na'vi, like it's typical development with him there, but it worked in the first film. I did think he was likable, and I was one of those people that I wasn't the biggest fan of Sam Worthington before the first movie, but this is one of my favorite performances of him, as Jake Sully, and maybe it's probably because when he turns to Na'vi, he becomes way more expressive than he is as a human. But like in this movie, what I really liked is what really enhanced it is that they have a family now. They have 4 kids, 1 adopted kid, and I just like that we got to see more of a father-son, father-daughter dynamic in this movie. Seeing how he's raising the kids, and like you see like a part of him like still is in his like his army marine type of mindset of him like raising the kids and training them to become warriors as well. So you see that come out of him, and I thought that was just very interesting. And then Neytiri,
I think this one was lacking for Neytiri a little bit, besides some of the action sequences at the end.
I agree. Like it did feel like she had as much to do as she did in the first movie. Now, when she does do stuff, it's cool, it's awesome. But it's like, yeah, there was some portions of the movie where we don't even see her. Like we see a good amount of her in the beginning, a little bit in the middle, and a lot at the end. In between those, like there are portions where she's just not there or not doing anything. And I would say like
most of the training is like Jake with the kids too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of slightly disappointing because she was the one that trained Jake.
Yeah, I wish there was more of a balance of Jake and Neytiri training the kids equally.
Mhm.
Um, because like of course, yeah, that Jake is the Aron Makto, but like as I said, Neytiri was the one to train him. So it's like I wish there was just a little bit more of a balance of that. Um, and also this movie, Neytiri is like going through the ringer emotionally. Um, the fact that her kids keep getting in danger, and it's very emotional for her, and then having to leave home, like that, all that is taking an emotional toll on her, and I thought that was very compelling. Um,
Kelly.
that's those are Max's dogs, by the way, if
Sorry,
you hear them in the
I'm
background.
trying to mute, but I'm trying to calm her down.
Yeah, you're good. Um, so to talk about the kids, let's talk about Loak. Loak is probably, I think, one of two one of the two standouts of the kids. Even though I enjoy all the kids, I think they're all great. But Loak, I think, had probably one of the biggest developments in the movie. Um, him also feeling like an outsider, and he's the trouble child. Like he likes to get himself into trouble, and sometimes he gets his
Most like
siblings in
Jake.
danger. Yeah, a lot like Jake. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of him. Um, and of course, in the movie, that since Jake is technically alien to the actual Navi, like when the biological kids come out a little bit different, because like the Navi, they have three fingers,
Mhm.
but since Jake's avatar had the regular four fingers like a human, some of the kids have four fingers, and so that's one of the things that he has to deal with the other Navi calling him a half breed and
Yeah.
alien or whatever, not feeling like he belongs. And since he's like the troubled child, he feels like his siblings and his parents don't really understand him, or like they're sending him to this unrealistic expectation. I thought all that was very interesting, and Loak wasn't annoying, because like this could have went bad real quick when it comes to child characters, that
Mhm.
especially teenagers, where it's like they make them unnecessarily annoying and insubordinate, and just like talking back to their parents. Like Loak wasn't like that, so yeah, he went through his adolescence, but it's like it did make him unlikable. So that's something I really appreciated about that. And then you had did you want to say something?
Oh no, I was trying to. Yeah, I like Loak a lot. I like this brother too.
Oh yeah, Natea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Loak looks a lot like Jake though. They even the actor like once they get him the avatar form, they look very similar.
yeah.
Um.
He looks like a mixture of Jake and Sute from the first movie.
Mhm.
But yeah, Nateum, I liked him a lot too. So he's the perfect kid. Like he does everything that his parents say. Like he goes by the books. He follows the rules and stuff like that. Um, I will say, this is a spoiler discussion. With him having that character development, he seems to be the most likely, if they were going to kill people, if they were going to kill members of the family, he seemed to be the first one up, and that ended up happening. Um, I wish we got to know him a little bit more outside of him being like, oh, the favorite child.
Mhm.
There wasn't really much outside of that, but he wasn't bad, I would say. And then you had the youngest girl, Took. Um,
I didn't know that was a girl at first.
uh,
But okay,
yeah,
but I like the character. Like I just did. Oh, I'm like, oh, that's a little girl. Okay. Later on in the movie, they refer to her as her. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
okay. But I think she's great. I think she's fun.
Yeah, I think she's very cute. Liked her a lot, and she wasn't getting herself in like unnecessary danger or doing the naive stuff that the youngest child normally does in movies or shows. So it's like she was really good. I liked her. And then we have, the most one of the most interesting ones. We have Kiri, played by
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver's playing
You
a
know,
teenager
and
in
people
this.
said she was annoying. I didn't think she was annoying at all.
No, I didn't think she was annoying.
Yeah.
She did do the typical teenager
She's a
cliches.
Jedi. She's a Jedi.
She's a Jedi, space
She's
Jedi.
yeah. Well, they are. Yeah, space. The Jedi are space Jedi.
Yeah.
But she's a Pandora Jedi.
Yeah, and how much of a coincidence, you know? Because Avatar is owned by 20th Century Studios. 20th Century Studios is owned by Disney. Disney owns Lucasfilm.
I mean, how
Star
else
Wars.
can you explain what she was doing underwater? Like she's got something. She's like got something else that no one else has.
Right, and
Yeah.
just like Anakin, she
yeah. What do you think about that part?
Yeah, getting
I
birthed
wasn't
out of
expecting that.
yeah, out of Sigourney Weaver's Avatar from the first movie, just a natural birth.
Before you saw this, did you expect her? I thought Kiri was going to be like reincarnated from Awa.
Awa, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think she was actually going to be a child of her character from the first.
Yeah,
especially like at the end they have her body and transferred to Awa. I thought she'd just be reincarnated. Like I thought that's part of the whole universe here, that they're kind of like reincarnation. I
was with you. I thought it was a reincarnation thing too, you know. So it's but like this is like, so you're telling me that Awa just naturally birthed a child out of an avatar that's not even being used. Like I don't know. That's really out there.
And then we're for sure that her character, that's the Na'vi version, didn't have relations with other Na'vi. Like how are we sure that it was Awa? I'm like, there's some questions there.
There are questions there, and then it's like if it was the case that that she had sex with another Na'vi or another person in an Avatar Na'vi, like I don't know, I don't buy anyone that she would hook up with, to be honest. Like I know people were like speculating that what's his name from the first movie, what's his name, that guy,
the young scientist, the nerdy one.
Yeah. They even acknowledge it in the movie, like when they were like speculating, like, oh, who knocked her up, like they actually bring up that guy.
Okay.
It's gonna bother me because like I knew his name before this.
I don't remember. I have no idea.
If anyone in the comments,
I don't know.
Norm.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody like they even acknowledged that theory that Norm and Grace had sex in this Avatar. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. No, that can't. I don't buy that.
I have one other huge problem with this movie.
Yeah.
And it's again the Tiri and how prejudiced she is against Spider, which really makes me question what the hell is up with her, because she fell in love with Jake and she knows he's a human, but he was in Na'vi form. Like, she's really prejudiced against humans when they're in human form, but if they're in Na'vi bodies, it's okay. Like, I'm like, are you serious now?
Yeah, that
I had an issue with
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's get to him. Spider.
Mm-hmm.
So
Spider.
Yeah, I thought Spider was really cool. So I'm surprised you even called this, but yeah, apparently Spider is the son of Quaritch. So Quaritch got busy while he was alive and had a son, but when all the humans were abandoning Pandora, they couldn't bring Spider back because he was a child, and they won't be able to survive the trip back home, and which was very sad. Like, they just left a child on Pandora. Like, that's
right.
nuts.
Well, he didn't. He like they left in a rush and a disgrace, and I'm sure Quaritch never thought he would have died. Like he wouldn't have set up other arrangements. But I do have, since this is a question from earlier in the stream, why not clone Jake's brother since they can clone people? I'm assuming that a lot of this technology goes to the people that have the richest. Like Jake and his brother, I'm assuming were more working class military. Whereas because he's like, if you do this for me, you'll earn your legs. Like I'll pay for it. And it was expensive. Like just for example, the technology existed on Earth for Jake to get his legs before he went to Pandora. Remember? In the first movie? Like he could have got it if he had the money.
Right.
But like backing up your what happened to Cord, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. Quaritch. Backing up his memory and all his thoughts on a foul, that's probably extremely expensive that working class people don't have, is my assumption. I don't have any facts, just the story from the first one that Jake was drinking himself to death almost in some of the director's cut scenes. Yeah. Miserable, and he could not afford his legs.
Yeah.
So in a lot of this, even when they take from the whales, it's expensive stuff and it's catered to the rich. And if you think the world and the universe is a horrible, or there's bad people, imagine people that can potentially live for an extremely long time. It's going to get even more, even more cutthroat. So I think that's kind of what he's setting up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, and also setting up the fact that they established that Earth is dying. And so pretty much the humans are going to take over Pandora and make it their new home, which, that's going to be a war.
Well, that's interesting. Do you think that's also going to pay off in the sequels, that they're stripping people's resources and then the rich can buy this whale serum that's like a fountain of youth? Man, people are going to get nasty.
Yeah,
there's limited resources and the rich can live almost forever.
Yep. I think that will play a part in the future films for sure. So I guess unobtainium, they don't care about that anymore.
I think they do. It's just talking about people living forever is that's a new thing. They actually found the Holy Grail on another planet.
That is true. I know this is one thing I forgot to talk about in the first movie. Like, yes, unobtainium is a dumb name. Yes, I'll admit it. But like, I didn't care. It wasn't like that big. It wasn't that big of a deal in the first movie. They didn't focus on it that much. But yeah, unobtainium. It's.
Well, I think the other reason to stress that they found something different there is it's not just one thing. These people from, I guess it's still Earth, right?
Yes.
They are not going to forget about this planet now that there's multiple resources there that are extremely rare, that can help people live very long lives. They are not forgetting about Pandora.
No, they are not. They're going to bring the fire. They're going to kill every Na'vi they can, So I am expecting like a big on war in like one of the sequels going forward. Like it's going to be like the biggest thing, and it's like all the different types of Na'vi around the world, wherever we get to see in 3 and 4 or whatever, like they all band together. The forest people, the water people. Will there be a desert one? We don't even know. Will be the other types of Na'vi around the world? We'll see. But all of them get banded together to fight against the humans. So I think that would be amazing if that's what they're doing. We don't even know.
This would be interesting. This would be a good Hulk. I've heard this too, Rational, but I don't. Based on this movie, it seems like you could just go to different parts of Pandora. But if they get to a point where they need to leave the planet, shit's gonna get real. Like.
That's true. I guess I see. Is Rational talking about the other planets like literally around Pandora? Because you saw other moons and planets around it. So
I don't know.
I mean,
that's gonna be like, that would be, to me, not knowing what's going to happen, that would be something that would make the third movie like really, oh, we got to see 4 because they like end the Pandora trilogy. It'd be like, okay, now shit's getting really real. We can't even stay on this planet anymore. We can't, you know?
Yeah, that's very true. That's very, very exciting stuff. To get back to Spider really quick, yeah, I did really like him, and yeah, it was interesting that they added this dynamic of
I still
Jake.
had a problem with him though. Like, why would he not that he saved Courage, but that he didn't tell anyone? Like, what the hell?
Well, if he told them that he saved Courage, I don't think they would trust him.
Neytiri would say, "Out."
Yep, or just kill him right there. but But yeah, so that's one of the things that slightly bothered me about his character is that his motivations didn't seem all the way consistent. But it was an interesting dynamic to see Navi adopt a human. And it's just be interesting to see how he works with that, living on Pandora and all this stuff. Like, how does he adapt to the Navi ways? Like, I don't know. My prediction in one of the sequels, I feel like this is what they might do. I think at some point they're going to create an avatar for Spider and he becomes a Navi. I think that's something that they could do in the future, maybe. I don't know. If he doesn't fully accept the fact that he's a human with around Navi, but I can see that becoming a difficulty as the Sully kids get older and they get bigger and more agile and stuff like that, and then he just looks the same. So I feel like that will personally get to him, that he's not as physically and on the same level as his siblings. So I'm thinking maybe at some point he ends up getting an avatar of his own and becomes a Navi. But I don't know. That's my prediction. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I did like Spider overall. Even though there's a couple
if Neytiri, James Cameron, thanks spoilers, James Cameron. If Neytiri does go to Earth in 5, maybe it's going to be her and Spider joining forces.
Maybe so. But wait,
maybe even her and Courage and Spider.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people saying that there's going to be a Courage redemption arc.
Okay, that'll be interesting. That'll be very.
They kind of hint that that's possible in this one. I don't know if I want to see that though. Do you?
If Spider wasn't Courage's son, I would say no. But now that they added that element, and we do see Courage lighten up a little bit in this, like you do feel like he has some sort of feelings for, or some sort of responsibility for Spider. So maybe there could be a redemption, later down the line. But it would just have to depend how they execute it. Like, if Courage is going to be the main villain of these movies, I just hope, like with the other sequels, they don't have him do anything so dastardly and evil where it's like we can't see him come back from that, because even with Neteyam dying, like, he didn't directly cause that, like it was the other people. Like, he didn't directly cause any personal deaths with the Sullys, so it's like there's still the possibility, he's just an obstacle. So it's like, maybe. And the more he softens up with Spider, and since Spider saves his life or whatever, it's like I could see that happening.
Is this you speculating, National? Neytiri goes to Earth so she could clone Jake after Jake possibly dies. They can clone avatars. I don't know if Jake was backed up or not, but I guess that's possible. Like, what would get Neytiri to Earth? Something like that would, yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what would cause them to want to go to Earth, especially when we know it's dying? Like, why would they go to Earth? So I'm wondering how they will execute that. Yeah, I guess to talk a little bit more about the dynamic between Neytiri and Spider, because you brought it up, that Neytiri accepted Jake when he was a human.
Yeah, but she was the most open to him out of anyone in her tribe, even though she still had prejudices as well.
Yeah.
But considering that they started a relationship, you would think that that would help her be less prejudiced against humans.
Right. And I'm surprised Jake didn't like, bring some points up. Like, is this how you felt when I was human? Like, what makes this any different? Like, I'm surprised he didn't bring stuff up like that more.
Mm-hmm.
And like later, like towards the end of the movie, like I mean, I guess you can argue that Neytiri's emotions were on high, so it's like she would do whatever's necessary to get her daughters back. But it's like when when he was about to like slit Spider's throat just to get cords to let go of what was it, Kiri? Like I didn't expect for her to go that dark,
Yeah, I
you
didn't
know.
like that part. I didn't like that part.
Yeah,
Like
it's like she did not give
she
a
seemed
fuck.
more evil than Quaritch.
Yeah, it's like she literally cut cut his chest. So it's like literally like she did not care. It was like, no, I don't. I will sacrifice you for my kids. You're not even my kid. So it's like, yeah, that was a little bit mean spirited, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt because she just lost her son, and like her daughters were in danger, so she was on an emotional high. And let's not forget that Neytiri is still savage, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just felt like that. Yeah, that felt a little dark right there. Um, Another thing, one of my other big problems with this movie that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, the whole reason that Jake, Neytiri, and the kids went to the reef people. I didn't think it was all the way justified for them to just abandon their forest people, because like as we said before, Jake is Arad Makto, he's supposed to be the guardian of the people, and it's like you
Well,
know it,
children changes you. Children changes you.
that is true, but you still have a responsibility to the forest people,
Well, I think he. Well, I didn't really have an issue there because I think he thought by hiding he would save them.
and that still didn't end up working because Courage
Mhm.
and his men still found them. So it's like,
Yeah.
I get his mindset. I understand why he thought that was the best decision to do to keep the forest people safe, so the Courage people won't find them again. But like, I just think because in the beginning of the movie they established that but at the beginning of the movie they established that Jake, you know, created like a whole like unit with the forest people, like Jake taught them military ways, and they're like there was that scene where they were getting weapons from the sky people, like that whole thing. So they have a system put in place, and you see a good amount of the forest people are dead. There's not a lot of them left. I don't think there's any more than 30 forest people now. So it's like my whole thing is like, I think there's two ways I think they should have went about this. One of them is really really dark, but like it would make more sense than what I think they did in this. Either you bring all the forest people with you to the reef people,
Mhm.
you bring all them with you, or you kill all the forest people off and
I
they're
just
just them.
I think it's going to be cool battles in the future where there's by land and sea and air.
True,
You
true.
know, Navi going. Sorry you feel that, Franco, but we're focused on the pot. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it. So, but yeah, I'm sure that's what they're saving up to do in the sequels, which I'm fine with. But it's just like it just felt strange that even Neytiri was willing to leave her mother there. I'm just like, you don't even take your mother with you. I don't know. I know it probably will be strange for all the forest people to adjust to the ways of the water Navi, but it's just like desperate times. There's not a lot of you left. So I'm
Hmm.
just like, I would just go with whatever Jake is saying. Like, hide with the water people until they figure this stuff out, at least. And then they can go back to the forest when everything's safe. But just like, it just felt weird that Jake would leave the forest people, without bringing them with them, or just say that all of them got killed off and it was just them left. But that's just my thing about that. Um, Okay, so Quaritch. One of the things that I was really skeptical about is how they were going to bring Quaritch back in these movies. And not only that, he was going to be a main antagonist of all these sequels. I'm like, he got shot with 2 big arrows in his chest.
Mm-hmm.
How the heck are you bringing Quaritch back? That was one of the biggest questions that people had. And I'm like, if James Cameron, if you can explain this, I'll go with whatever you want to do for the most part.
Do you accept the explanation that he's on foul, that they can they can already put your essence into avatar bodies, so they have you backed up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I buy it. I buy it. This is an extremely sci-fi concept. I'm sure for some people they feel like this is really crazy and over the top. But since this world is already crazy and over the top with the sci-fi concepts, it makes sense in this world. And I'm surprised I didn't think about a concept like this.
See, the thing that I'm like, I thought he was going to be even more evil since he's coming back after he died once, but it's not the case. He's kind of a different person now, a little bit.
He's practically a clone. That's what he is. So it's not exactly the same Quaritch, but it's
you're not wrong. Memory. You're not wrong, Frank he's kind of nicer as a Na'vi.
Yeah, he looks a little softer in the face for sure. Which
but he's not as cutthroat or as ruthless as he was before.
You don't think he's as cutthroat and ruthless?
Not as he was in the first one.
He was about to burn that water tribes. Like, no, he did burn that entire tribe down, and he was about to shoot. He killed one of the aquatic creatures, and he was about to kill one of the main tribe people.
Yeah, well, I think in the first one he would have.
Well, I think the only reason he didn't do that is because Spider is there. So that's one of the things of softening his character a little bit, making him not as cutthroat, using the best of words. But yeah, I think this is all just, to develop, Quaritch a little bit more when it comes to Spider. So like I was okay with that, But yeah, the whole thing of, they had a backup plan in case these soldiers die. They have these memories in a hard drive and just they imprint it on the avatars, which I thought it's crazy.
Awesome, Eddie. Awesome.
Glad you did.
We're having a blast here.
Yes, we are. Feel free to join us if you want to talk about Avatar. But yeah, so the whole thing with Quaritch, I thought it was very interesting. Very, very interesting that these soldiers come back as Na'vi soldiers like that. Mm-hmm. That was really very interesting. Yeah, and Stephen Lang, I think Stephen Lang is great. They probably made him soft in the face because we know Stephen Lang's getting up there in age. So I hope they filmed as much as they could before he gets too old. But yeah, I thought that was a creative way to bring him back. I'd never thought of them doing it that way. I'm surprised I didn't think about that. But yeah, that very clever what they did there.
Do you see Neytiri being a little cold to Kiri as well? Or do you think she's embraced Kiri? Because I know Jake has. Jake's like he calls her little girl or something.
Yeah, she'll probably embrace Kiri more because for one thing, she's a Na'vi, and second of all, she's connected to Eywa, so I think she would have a little bit more sympathy for Kiri. Because Spider, he's just a human, and on top of that, the child of Quaritch, who tried to kill you like not too long ago. So I see why Neytiri would have resentment against Spider, even though there's still some mean-spirited stuff that I didn't agree with her character. But like, yeah, Kiri, I don't see any animosity with that at all. But yeah, the Neytiri having Eywa's powers, so she's able to control aquatic life and all this stuff, telekinesis and all that stuff. Like, so yeah, space Jedi, alien Jedi. I kind of figured that was going to happen too, to be honest. when we see in the trailer, she's talking about that she can feel Awa and stuff like that. So it's like it kind of gave the indication that she'll be connected to that. Sigourney playing Curie, I'll admit there's a couple of moments where it sounded distracting. Like it didn't feel like a teenage Sigourney. It felt like it's adult Sigourney trying to do a teenage voice. There was a couple of moments where it didn't work, but for the most part, I thought she did a good job voicing the character for the most part. Talking about more about the Reef people, Tanawari, the main chief, I thought he was really, really good as well. Yeah, I like this. I like the designs of the water Navi, like the tattoos they have, and like they have bigger
I
hands
don't
and
know if I
fins.
was sold on the tattoos. I'm like, I don't know. It
I,
didn't look bad to me or anything, but I was like, okay.
I mean, obviously they're taking inspirations from like
Yeah.
Hawaiian Samoan culture and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And of course you got to have those woke people complaining that you're appropriating other races and cultures, and like they're aliens. Why do you care? They are aliens.
Well,
They're not
they
humans.
take characteristics from. I understand, but not to actually boycott. But I understand what they're saying. They do take a lot of care, especially with just like you said, with that tattoos are very similar to Samoan Hawaiian people. Very similar. They even did the which I'm sure doesn't adds to the accusations is that Samoan that you've seen like Jason Momoa and The Rock do that dance, like where they stick their tongue out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, appropriation.
Oh,
DL, you just did it.
appropriation
Oh, DL.
and canceled.
You can't
But
do that. No, I'm just kidding. You can
yeah,
do
I know.
it. But you know exactly. But I was when I saw that too. Actually, that kind of like took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, when they were sticking out their tongues and doing that shit, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a little much. But I mean, I'll give it a slight pass because they're aliens. But like, I don't, yeah, I guess I
I
see what they're
think
saying.
Japan. I thought. I'm not sure. Don't I think
Somewhere in Asia. Um, but yeah, I mean, I dig their designs, and it's like, yeah, like I said, I like the bigger fins that they have. They have longer tails, the tattoos. They have lighter shade of blue. I thought that was really nice. Um, okay, hold on. I got to talk about we need to talk about her.
letdown.
Yeah.
Kate
Wait, what?
Winslet.
Wait, what? Yeah. Ronald, you didn't like Ronald?
She was okay, but
I I mean, yeah, like her character, she was very stoic and serious most of the time. So like there wasn't much beyond that, but like I was just blown away that this is Kate Winslet.
mhm.
This is Kate Winslet. Titanic, like Rose. This is like I was I didn't even see Kate Winslet at all. That was amazing. Like they
Mhm.
had her look like that. But yeah, overall, they were as characters. I thought um Ronald and Tonawari. I thought they were solid. They were solid. As far as the other kid, like their daughter, I thought she was nice. She was, you could tell that there was a little romance going on. I can't pronounce her name right. To Syria, to Syria.
I have a prediction.
What's the prediction?
Um, Spider protecting his father is gonna. There's a budding relationship between her and Jake's son.
Okay,
Um, if it gets someone killed, Jake's son and Quarch's son are gonna go at it.
you talking about Loak?
Loak, yeah.
Loak and Spider are gonna go at it.
If something like that happens where it causes someone's death, because he keeps protecting Quarch, you know,
That's yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Um, I one of my other predictions. you could tell that they're developing some sort of a romance between Loak and Tisseria. We're gonna see some mixed Navi babies. We're gonna see some mixed Navi babies in the future
Mhm.
when they're adults. I can't wait to see how their hybrid's gonna look like. It's gonna be very, very interesting to see.
W-
But
Well, Samir, that's not only that. It's what if when they find out if someone gets killed, that's going to cause major issues.
yeah, all that. Yeah, when they find out, yeah, that he saved them and all that stuff in there. Yeah, it's gonna be, ooh, there's gonna be some tension.
Mhm.
Nate Terry's gonna be out for blood. I'm telling you right now. She's gonna be out for blood. But anyway, Tisseria, I thought she was good. Then the chief's son, causing trouble, trying to get Loak killed. They were all right, I guess. I didn't, whatever. They were fine. Uh, Reminded me a lot of Sute in the first movie. Sute didn't like Jake because he's an outsider and trying to get him killed. And whatever. Like we seen that from the first movie. So that's one of the familiar tropes we've seen before. Um. Okay. What else? Okay. I guess we can slowly start talking about. Let's talk about the subplot with the whales. Okay, so Loak befriends this lost whale, or this lonely whale that has one of its fins uh is missing or whatever. I'm gonna be real. That's the one subplot in the movie I didn't need. I didn't need it.
I like the whales better than the other things they attach to the things that the fish that fly.
Yeah, the whatever those swimming creatures are.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, yeah, they're more interesting for sure. But and actually, I did like the whole thing of like the water Navi can communicate with the whales, like they're actual people and stuff like that. So that's how this show shows how much of a connection they have to aquatic life. So I have. Wait, what did I say?
about the whales.
About that I didn't care about the whales. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're not bad. I wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, this plot line is stupid. Like I appreciate what James
The
Cameron.
whales are going to be coming. He had the big time in the future
I'm sure they
because
will.
Loak also connected to them, right?
Well, Loak connected to that one whale that was lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see them becoming a big factor in the future. But it's just like I didn't feel like we needed the plot point with the lonely whale being an outsider and whatever. I didn't need that. I didn't need that. Like, I mean, Loak can still find the whale and connect with them, like whatever. That's fine, but it's just like the whole backstory of him getting lost from the other whales and stuff like that, and the water Navi thinks that whale's a killer or whatever. Like I didn't care about that. I didn't need that. Like, if they just focused on Loak just befriending the whale. We didn't need this backstory with the whale. Like that would have been fine. That would have streamlined it better for me. I see why they did it, because they wanted to show how Loak and the whale can relate, because they both feel like outsiders or whatever. But just like, I don't know, that was unnecessary for me. But another thing I didn't care for, when Quaritch appoints those two fishermen people, like I did not care about those two at all. Like,
Oh
why
yeah.
why did we need them?
Well,
I
they
mean,
need whalers. They needed that story in there.
I would have been fine if they were just just faceless soldiers that had aquatic vehicles. Like, I didn't care about knowing about what these fishermen do, and like the back and forth with the two main ones. Like, I say I didn't like Avatar
He
2?
just too did when you're talking about the whale stuff. He didn't see the whole beginning. He just did
Okay.
it.
Well, let me recap for people that just tuned in. I really enjoyed Avatar. I really like it. I thought it was very good. I'm
Have you
excited.
seen the director's cut of the first one?
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me show you something. I'll be right back.
Mhm.
Max, hold the fort.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm going to show you something.
He's gonna show us something. The whale action in the battle had bigger impact because of the subplot. Yeah. Like me again, DL. Dolphins, orca eat great white sharks? I don't know. Okay. I never heard that. What if they have like I would have liked shark like
If you guys haven't seen my my stream for the first movie, I said that I own the director's cut
okay.
on DVD. This is not a Blu-ray. This is DVD. But this is
What?
a very nice set.
How dare you?
It was a very nice set. Okay.
DVD.
Look how beautiful.
Avatar.
Look how beautiful this set is, though. Look how beautiful this is. Look at.
You need to upgrade. Do you have Blu-ray player?
Yes, I have a Blu-ray player. I'll probably get the Blu-ray of the director's cut at some point. But look how beautiful this is.
Mine's a little beat up because I got it at a resale shop. I got it used.
Oh, see now you
but it's Blu-ray. But it's Blu-ray though.
But it's Blu-ray. Yeah. I know.
It's the same set except Blu-ray.
Yeah, but look how nice.
Like, that might be rare. They didn't really release that. They only re-released the theatrical.
Yeah, I don't.
They never show the director's cut anywhere. They didn't do a 3D version, which I wanted.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that James Cameron didn't do the director's cut for the re-release either. Like, I'm surprised, but but yeah. So yeah, I have seen the director's cut. Were you going somewhere with that? I'm sorry if I
No, that's beautiful.
Oh, but yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. See, so but yeah, in general, for people that are just tuning in, hi, welcome to the spoiler stream of Avatar: The Way of Water. But yeah, I really enjoyed Avatar: The Way of Water. I really enjoyed it. I just don't know if I liked it as much as the first film. I just felt like the movie could have been more focused, and there's some character motivations that I thought was inconsistent. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. I really do like it. I'm going to own it. I can't wait for 3, 4, and 5 if we get that far. Like,
yeah, definitely 3. Definitely 3.
Definitely 3. If we can at least get the trilogy out there, I'll be satisfied.
He said even if they can't do 4 and 5, that 3 leaves off at a spot that they can at least give somewhat of a closure. You know,
that's good. That at least they are prepared for in case they can't go any further than 3. Because like one of the biggest examples of a franchise that were supposed to have 5 movies, but they abruptly cut it at 3 is the Fantastic Beasts movies. And I did feel like the 3rd movie was like the most satisfying ending. So at least
no question, Avatar 2.
Yeah, Avatar 2. Yeah.
I mean, come on, the underwater sequences, Namor versus that, it just was no comparison, unfortunately. Yeah. I was hoping that the Talokan underwater stuff could challenge Avatar 2, but in no way does it do it.
No, it does not. It looks so dark and dull, and I know they were trying to make it look more realistic, but just visually we weren't able to see everything, like we didn't spend enough time there. And I had even more creative decisions and character motivations and just writing issues that I had with Wakanda Forever than I did with Avatar 2. If you guys have seen my review for Wakanda Forever, I was meh on it. I mean, it's a very well made movie, but like, it would have been better if they just recasted T'Challa. But anyway, I don't want to digress into that. But yeah, as I was saying, the 2 Fisher people, main fish guys, I didn't care about them at all. Like they should have just been like faceless soldiers on aquatic vehicles. Like Encourage was the main focus of that. I mean, I get they wanted to set up the whale
like,
stuff, but
it seems like the one's gonna help out the good side in the future. Like the one that's he's that comedian. I forget his name.
And that's the thing. You got comedians to
play the scientist role. What's his name? I forget.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I didn't care. And then one of them got their arm cut off, didn't they? With by the whale.
Oh yeah, that was brutal 3D. The arm flew at the
arm just flying. I was just like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was nuts. Yeah, this movie gets pretty brutal in certain moments. I mean, it's still PG-13, but it's like it does get hard PG-13. It's not all family friendly throughout the movie. I feel
Oh,
like
I was
James.
gonna say I would like a shark type creature, since they do like whales. Like
I'm
that would have been
surprised we didn't
amazing.
get one. I'm surprised we
Mhm.
didn't get a shark-like creature. Maybe in the future we'll get that. But yeah, that would be cool to see their rendition on a shark. Oh yeah, the theater was cheering when the whale cut the dude's arm off. Like, yeah, that was a cheering moment for sure. Um,
Well, I mean, the other thing to consider, like someone said that it's already Samir. It's passing 850 million worldwide Monday, supposedly.
mhm.
What is going to go in the 3D theaters for the near future? This is the only thing that's going to be played in 3D for a while. Like,
Yeah, unless they want to. No, they're not gonna do Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, it's like I don't see any other like movies pushing out 3D like they do with this, unless possibly if they want to do that with Avengers, Kang Dynasty, or Secret Wars. But I don't know if they'll do that either. But yeah, like you don't see
Shazam 2.
Shazam 2. I don't know about that, but
Yes, he likes the movie.
just because I have criticisms with the movie doesn't mean I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like no movie is perfect. No movie is perfect. I can give you at least one nitpick or criticism with all the movies that I love. Like Terminator, that I think is a perfect movie. I have nitpicks in that. Even Back to the Future, which I think has no like significant issues at all. Like that's like a perfect script for that movie. Even I have certain things I would have tweaked or done better. But like, come on, we live in this time now where it's like, if there's any like issues of a movie, that means oh it's not great. Or if somebody says that a movie is good, that means oh you mean you hate it. Like no, I said I enjoyed it, but I just have some issues here and there. Either a movie has to be perfect, or a movie is awful. Like there's no middle ground anymore. That's annoying. That's really annoying. Um, but anyway, I digress. I digress. Um, so with I like the portion where Quaritch was learning to ride those winged creatures like Jake did in the first movie. I guess that's one of the criticisms that people had about it feeling like a rehash of the first movie, which I thought that was a clever way to use
It seems like
similar
they
elements.
reused a lot of assets from the first one, maybe to take down the cost a little bit, like except higher definition, you know.
Could be. It could be. Though I think like that stuff will play a part in future movies since Quaritch is a Na'vi and he has to learn the Na'vi ways so at some point. So I mean I thought that was interesting, you know. I like that one part where he's trying to train one of the winged creatures and he just sucker punches one of the winged creatures. That was kind of funny. But and then Spider teaching Quaritch how to speak Navi because the way Corge was speaking Navi wasn't very good.
Mhm.
So you start to slightly see a bond between Corge and Spider, which is very interesting for sure. Um, but yeah, so that the last 45 minutes is like one huge action set piece.
Mhm.
That's dude, the last 45 minutes of this movie is bananas. Um, I
Did they actually? I actually think this might be controversial.
mhm.
The It actually looks like they used the actual footage from Titanic hallways and just CGI the background a little bit and had them walk through that. I actually think they reused some assets from that.
You think they went
They
that far?
yes. It's James Cameron, yes.
I mean, I definitely felt
Because
some tight.
I seen side by side pictures of even the water level. I think they did that.
I mean, if that's the case, okay, I'm sure there's definitely was some Titanic vibes towards the end when they're trying to escape from the ship without before it sinks. So I guess it wouldn't shock me too much if he actually went out his way to get
Well, he
certain
already has the
footage.
footage, so
Yeah,
just use the background and just have like Natiri just do the motion capture going through the hallways,
I guess so.
and
Yeah.
just change because even the camera angle was exactly the same with the water. How would you get that close without, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I mean, James Cameron been working on it for 13 years. Maybe he actually, he actually studied that. I don't know. But yeah, that the overall climax with the water tribe on their aquatic bat creatures attacking, that was cool. The the whale coming to attack, that was awesome as well. And then of course, yeah, the final confrontation with Courage, Jake and Neytiri, like Jake and Neytiri. Oh wait, I guess yeah. When Neteyam died, when Neteyam and Loak was trying to rescue Spider from the ship, and there's a shootout. Thank you. Yes, please subscribe to my
Yeah,
channel.
if you're just tuning in, sub to DL. Help him get
Yes,
to 500 soon.
please. And there's a shootout, and then Neteyam got shot, and yeah, he just slowly dies, and all his family are gathering around him. That was a heart wrenching moment, especially hearing Neytiri just screech out in pain like that. Like I almost cried at that moment. I'm not gonna lie. That hit me. Like the connection with family in this movie is very very strong. Like regardless of what we say about the plot and stuff like that, what really worked very well that I think was better than the first movie was you do care about this family. You do care about these new characters. You want to see this family make it out alive. Um, so they did a really good job with that at the very least. But yeah, when Neteyam died, that was a heart wrenching moment, and then that leads to Jake and Neytiri infiltrating the ship and confronting Quaritch to rescue Kiri and Took. Now, while this movie had Titanic vibes, with Jake and Neytiri infiltrating that ship, that was giving some alien vibes, bro. But that was like Jake and Neytiri sneaking around in the dark and just killing people left and right, sneaking up on them. That was some alien shit right there. Like, oh man, that was awesome. That was so cool. Freaking insane. Um, yeah, we already talked about the whole thing of looked like Neytiri was almost about to kill Spider when Courage had Kiri by the throat and stuff like that. It's like I cut, and then he actually cuts Spider's throat. That was really dark. But yeah, then they got out of that, and then Jake and Courage end up fighting, and then they almost drown, and Loak helps Jake get to safety, and then Neytiri going after Took. They are almost drowning, but then Kiri using her Navi powers to help get them out safely. So that whole thing was cool. And then the whole thing of that whole thing they say about the way of water, where the water will be there when you're, by the time of your birth and when you die, like it gives life and takes life. That whole thing was interesting. Wasn't expecting to come out. Wait, let me read that again. Wasn't expecting to come out of an Avatar sequel thinking family, Fast and Furious, buckle up. Well, this felt more authentic than what they were doing with the Fast and Furious movies. I'll tell you that right now. This is coming from a Fast and Furious fan, by the way. But like the family stuff felt more genuine in this movie. But I do get it. Like they did emphasize family a lot in this, but like I actually cared by the time shit hit the fan. But yeah, like I think we covered everything. Like I guess the funeral they had with Neteyam at the end, that was very sweet, and with Neytiri doing that ritual singing and stuff like that. And then we also have to explain they also have an underwater like tree thing that they can connect their tails to, and it gives them memories and stuff like that. And
no Avatar love scenes this time. I was trying to think of the right word. That was a little weird in the first one. Like, whoa,
their tails connect, and yeah, like the arousal. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was an interesting scene, but I guess I kind of get why people thought it was a bit
Avatar
weird.
copulating, I guess.
Yeah,
There's like none of that.
yeah. It'll be way weirder if the teenagers were doing that too. I'm like,
Well,
no, we don't need that. No.
I'd like to address this, Mr. Alfonso Howard. If he does care about the story, but the way to make it instantly recognizable is to have beats from some, stories you've heard already to make it more worldwide. This is how you make a global blockbuster. That you use similar beats, especially with the amount of budget this is. You're going to have to use similar stuff to as like not like a Trojan horse, but to get this into as many theaters and as many people's minds as possible. Use a similar story that a lot of people around the world can relate to. So
Yeah.
that you're going to use folklore, you're going to use stories that people have heard that transcends language barriers as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I think it's actually intentionally not as like that it's so similar to other stories because that's purposeful. When you have a budget this high, you can't really risk you can't like go all subverting expectations like some directors. You gotta kind of handle expectations and similar beats and member berries so people eat. It also adds to you're looking at aliens. If you're looking at aliens, you kind of want some kind of something to ground you to the story where you're not like, well, this is a weird story and I'm looking at aliens. You want something similar, That's my thoughts.
Yeah, very well said. Like I do also believe that it was purposeful to make the story so simple because it's something that a lot of different people around the world can get behind. Like it's a story that's universal. So like we gotta keep in mind here that us in the West, us Americans, or whatever you want, if you're Canadians, whatever, we like more people, we like the complicated in-depth stories and like that that goes in different twists and turns. Not everybody around the world cares about that. That's the bottom line. Like some a lot of other people just like to see spectacle, you know and like I do think there's I do think there's still substance in Avatar, but it's like I said, they don't expect this super complicated story with aliens. Like no, it's like you're there to enjoy the world, and like the spectacle and the effects, and it's like there's at least something on a like a on a at least on a simple level where it's like you can relate to the characters. It's at some level. So I don't know. I just don't go to these movies to get these in-depth stories that people are claiming that they want from this. But anyway, is there anything you want to bring up that I haven't already?
No, I'm really anticipating the third one. I like the length of time between movies. It's almost like this is a sequel. Like it's like that was its own thing, and this is the sequel. Not like a sequel to the film, but like a sequel series. Like it's
Yeah.
like the first Avatars was its own thing, and this is more. And that was the story about Jake and Neytiri, and then this story is more about the next generation. It's like next generation.
Yep. I think
I don't know if that was originally the plan or not. I don't know.
I mean, a lot could have changed between these 13 years, but I do think that the Sully kids will be the main focus of these movies going forward, which I don't have a problem with. Um, but he executes simple story in a cool, exciting way. Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
9 hour.
Okay, the 9 hour. That's obviously an assembly cut. There is it's physically impossible for them to release a 9 hour film. There's no way. There's no way it will make any profit. I don't care how big these movies are. And a 9-hour film, that's box office suicide. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm sure he'll have it be at 3.5 hours. Which these movies don't need to be 3.5 hours. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Go back to just 3 hours. Like if you got to make it 3 hours and 12 minutes, I'll accept it. But it's like it would be much more tight if it was like at least just 3 hours or 2 hours and 45 minutes or something. But could you imagine him doing a director's cut of this if there even is one?
I don't think there is gonna be one. I think that's what you get. Like I'm shocked there was a director's cut of the first one.
Yeah,
Um
that one
maybe
should have been the one in theaters.
well, I don't know. I think the cut was I like the director's cut better, but I think that could have impacted the box office some. I think it was a tighter cut for the theatrical.
I mean, this is
And
stuff we argue like with the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was a better made film. That should have been out in theaters. Was it going to win everyone over? No, but I don't think it would have been as polarizing as the theatrical cut. And he released Titanic. That was over 3 hours as well.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I mean, as I said, like I don't think I like it does not necessary for it to be that long, but if it's a better movie, then release it. I don't know. But okay, I guess we'll start to wind things down now if we don't have anything else to bring up. Overall, this was a really good film. Did it live up to all of my expectations? No. But I'm still glad that this movie came out and it's still a very, very well made film. Haters, y'all can continue to hate if you want. Uh, for people saying that you can't wait, what is it? Read that again. Let me read that again. You can't deny James Cameron's Aliens, Terminator, T2, The Abyss, True Lies, Titanic, Avatar. Dude, he's made hits, nonstop hits.
Yeah.
Like, never bet against James Cameron. When are you going to learn? All you people saying that nobody's going to care about this movie, no one's going to go see this film. It's already going to make almost $1 billion. It's already at 800 million, and it's only its second weekend. Yeah, people don't care about this movie. I think you might want to reevaluate your strategy there.
Let me look at the box office. Maybe that might be something to look at. Friday box office. A lot of people are off this Friday because of the Christmas holiday. Let me see.
Yeah,
Google.
Christmas is a good time for people to go to the movies too. So I can see this doing really well this weekend.
Let me see. Although the weather might have impacted this.
Oh, that's true. The weather's really bad around the country right now.
Let me see here. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
They're talking about the Christmas deep freezes keeping people in.
Oh boy.
Deadline. It's still Christmas box office a deep freeze. Winter weather takes toll on ticket sales with most new picks off Avatar 2 eyes 82 million 4-day update. That's still really good, but I'm pretty sure that if it wasn't for the bad weather, they would have had 100 million for this next weekend.
Yeah.
So coming at estimate 85.5.
I mean, yeah.
82 million is what they're predicting. But I think that would have been down, or that would have been up if it wasn't for the weather.
True. And like even if it doesn't do that much this weekend, this movie won't have any competition until February.
Especially in the premium theater format too. That's going to help keep, it's an event to see this in a premium format.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's definitely going to make $1 billion. It's going to happen. Do I think it's going to hit the 2 billion mark like Kevin's saying? I don't know about that. We'll see. But if the word of mouth
it depends on how long the premium theaters have it in there. Yeah.
True. But I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because like I think this is getting better reception audience wise than the first movie. Like I think the last time I saw it, I think it was at like in the 90s on the audience rating. The critic rating's like around 70, so it's a little bit less than the first movie.
It's
But
already at 681 million worldwide as of today.
so yeah, it's going to be a cakewalk for this. This is going to be a hit. Like I'm sure it'll be successful. We're going to get the third movie. I wouldn't doubt that we'll get 4 and 5. You know, especially if 3, whatever we're hearing about 3, about the crazy stuff that they're setting up. I'm sure people will be hooked. You know, this was just a reintroduction to the Pandora world, which I understand their strategy for that.
Avatar Next Generation.
Next generation, exactly. But yeah, it's Franco. Like, I'm not. Oh, Captain Marvel. We don't want to support geeks and gamers. Look, okay, so let me. This is an Avatar stream, but I'm gonna have to address this real quick. I don't hate Captain Marvel because she's a woman. Okay, let me just throw that out there right now. If you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know I love me some female characters.
Okay.
Some female lead characters. Yeah, I meant.
But you're not down with the Queen Brie?
No, I'm not a fan of Brie Larson as an actress. It has nothing to do with her being, it has nothing to do with her being a lead character or being a superhero. I'm just not a fan of her as an actress. I think she's very bland, and she didn't do anything for me in her solo film, in Endgame. Like, didn't do it for me. I'm looking forward to her the least out of the Marvels. Like, I'm mainly there for Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau. So I don't really care for her. But hey, I am open for her to change my mind. I'm hoping that in the Marvels that she's better, but I just don't care about her portrayal as Captain Marvel.
I don't think he said he hates her, though. He doesn't hate her.
He don't hate her. I just
doesn't like her acting.
I don't like her acting, but I don't care about her as Captain Marvel as a character. I don't care about her at all. She's my least favorite Avengers character right now. As far as a superhero, she's my least favorite. So I don't care about her, but I don't hate her. I don't wish ill will on Brie Larson. Not at all. Her character fell flat for me. That's the main thing. I don't even remember her as Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
She looks different. She's much younger.
Yeah, like
she was the singer of the band.
Yeah, I thought Brie was in 21 Jump Street. I forgot about that too. Like, I mean, she was fine in that. She was fine in Kong Skull Island, but that's all she is fine. How is she an award-winning actress? Did she do anything groundbreaking?
Oh, no.
Oh, Ruby, thank you for finally jumping in while we're about to close out. But I'm glad I could make it before the end. I just wanted to say James Cameron's Avatar films may not be bad movies per se, but I tend to see them more as visual theme park rides more than movies. And I see that. I see that. No, I did not see Room. I did not. Maybe I'll give it a watch and see how it is. But anyway, closing this out. Really enjoyed this movie. Did I like this more than the first film? No, but it doesn't mean it's not a worthy sequel. I think it definitely is a worthy sequel. It got me invested in Pandora again, and it got me excited for what's to come in the future with 3, and I hope we get Avatar 4 and 5. I don't know about the other stuff they're trying to do after that.
This was a little more contained than the first one. Like, the first one felt more like universe. Like, you're on Earth, he's traveling. It was like more. This is just like a more contained story, even though it's a long movie.
Yeah, true. Like, it did feel like more of an intimate story than the first movie. The first movie felt like this whole grand-ish thing, end of the world type thing. But maybe it served the family aspect a little bit more.
I'm gonna highlight this because this is funny. Jared's Bowman, the visuals ain't that great. Stop deriding Cameron.
Jared,
listen, you're welcome to your opinion, but I really don't get, like, this is a weird thing on the internet for people to call out visual effects and, like, it's not that great. I'm like, okay, if you really think that.
I see.
But like, I don't know what can you go to the eye doctor then? I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's like, like I don't understand it. Like, the only reason I would see people saying that is for people that don't study or appreciate visual effects, like other people that study it. Like I see for like the casual moviegoers that don't really focus that much on the intricate details of the visuals, they're probably thinking, oh, okay, this feels just as good as the first movie. I don't see why this is so much better. But it's like me specifically who study who visual effects and stuff like that, notice the intricate details. Like I see there's a difference. I see the details and stuff like that. So that's the only reason I can see why people are saying that the visuals aren't that great. They're probably just numb to all the weird effects that the MCU has been giving over the past 2 years and thinking, oh, that's the gold standard. Like, no, it's not. It's really not. Thanos motion capture is great, but like it ain't nothing compared to what Jake Sully is looking as a Navi. I'm just saying that right now. But anyway, overall, I'm going to give. Did you guys like the change from the? Oh, actually,
I love this is the first time I liked high frame rate.
yeah, I forgot to bring that up. So, yeah, I liked how they utilized the frame rate in this movie. Like I've heard from other critics that they said that the frame rate was really distracting, and I didn't get that. Like I didn't notice that I mean, yes, I noticed the frame rate was changing, in certain scenes. So it's like it's not like I didn't notice it at all, but it wasn't jarring. Like I was expecting something like really jarring because people were describing like the frame rate being so bad. Like you remember when you go into Best Buy and you see those TVs and like you see the frame rate on those, like it looks like it's like a soap opera type thing. Like they were describing the frame rate being that bad, and I am watching this movie in IMAX 3D. Like I didn't notice it being that bad. It looked pretty consistent. So I don't understand what people were talking about with that the frame rate was so bad. But like I thought it worked. Um, and I'm sure for the casual moviegoer, they're not going to notice that stuff. That the frame rate is jumping here and there. So it's whatever. I'm probably in the minority. I'm probably in the very, very vast minority. But I do hope movies in the future experiment more with high frame rate because I kind of dig that in certain aspects. I didn't like the Hobbit movies, but I thought it was interesting how they use high frame rate in those movies. I thought it was interesting. It didn't like take me out completely. But I hope more movies experiment with that. But I'm in the minority. I know a lot of people just like the traditional 24 frames per second, and like I get it. That's fine. But I'm one of the few minorities of people that dig it.
We
But
might as well end it right at 2 hours, right?
yep, we're gonna end it right at 2 hours. So overall, I will say that Avatar: The Way of Water is I'll give it a B plus. I gave the first movie an A minus. This is right below it for me, but I still really, really enjoyed it. I recommend people go see it. If you're a fan of Avatar, you got to go see this movie. You got to go see it. But even people that are skeptical, because I know there's some people that enjoy this more than the first film, which I think is great. So that means there's more interest in this franchise that people enjoyed this more than the first film. Like your boo Grace Randolph enjoyed this more than the first film. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I didn't think it met the expectations that it set with the first film fully, but it was a worthy sequel. But yeah, what do you give it?
I give it an A minus.
You give it an A minus.
Yeah. I think it met my expectations. I didn't think it surpassed them, which when you're talking about Cameron, I think sometimes he can't surpass them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it surpassed it with the 3D and the high frame rate because people have questions about that. But like story wise, I don't think it surpassed me there. Like I was I want more, like I said before, I want more diversity with the creatures, like really fantastical looking stuff that doesn't look so similar to other creatures. I kind of want some variety there. And this was really just the water tribe, really focused on one water tribe. Like the first movie went back and forth between the humans and the Na'vi, more equal time. This one was so focused on the water tribe and the Sullys and the family, which is good. It really got you, which is probably what it needed to do. It got you really attached to these new characters.
Mm-hmm.
They really wanted to spend a lot of time on these new characters, which means they're going to be pulling out your heartstrings in the next one. I'm just preparing you. to spend this much time character development as the whole Sully family. I'm just prepare yourselves. It's going to be emotional, I think.
It's funny how all the vitriol for this movie comes right at the end. We're about to end this stream, and everyone wants to come in and say this movie's garbage. Fuck this movie, it's complete shit.
I need to find out more about Devin, why he doesn't like this movie.
Yeah, I would love to know why he didn't like it. I think, did he do a review on his channel? I would love to. I'll watch it.
D writing 3D movies. No,
I'm definitely not a
that's
D writer.
The problem. Bad 3D movies have tainted the public, the general public, because they use it as a surcharge. But let's be real. All the technology that Cameron's introduced to these movies, I don't think anyone's going to use it because it makes the cost of these productions so much higher. You think Marvel's going to do high frame rate when they kind of do cost-cutting measures on this visual effects as it is? That means they're going to have double the frames of animation. That's going to up the costs. I don't think anyone's going to use this technology.
And this is what I've been saying this is what I've been feeling for the longest time. It's like, regardless if you love these movies or if you hate these movies, I think we need movies like this, and James Cameron, filmmakers like James Cameron that are willing to push the envelope when it comes to filmmaking, because we don't get movies like this.
Well, people like to make fun of George Lucas and the prequels, but at that time the prequels came out, he was pushing technology.
Right.
Sometimes to a detriment, because there was, stiff acting and green screens and stuff and digital. But he at least tried to push it forward. No one else is trying to push it forward right now. Guillermo del Toro, but he doesn't get work.
Yeah, it's like nobody wants to give him money.
Because he won't sacrifice his vision, and his productions cost a lot to make,
I know. It's like, yeah, glad you bring up the George Lucas thing, because, the CGI and green screen didn't look very good in the prequels, but it's like, without that, we wouldn't get stuff like this today. George Lucas crawled for James Cameron to run, It's like, you got trial and tribulation. That's what we got to do. That's how you're going to get movies like Top Gun Maverick or Dune and stuff like that. That quote unquote pushes the envelope when it comes to filmmaking. We need movies like this, man. If you don't like this franchise, fine. But this movie could pave the way for other stuff in the future if it's successful, So it's like, we got to keep that in mind too, of why it's important to have movies like this, Because I would hate to be in a time where everything is just playing it safe and, nobody taking risks.
Can you imagine if people weren't so attached to live action superhero films and we got high frame rate, all CGI, really well done Marvel film in the future? And you don't have to worry about, keeping track of these huge budgets for these live action actors. You still have voice actors, which deserve their due as well. But there's some, because basically you do funny stuff to get to the action, and the action's all 3D anyway, most of the time.
Yeah.
If you like Spider-Man, forget about it. Most of the action, that's CG, Imagine what that could be.
Exactly. We love our superhero movies, but we got to admit, they do get formulaic at times, there's nothing too groundbreaking about a good amount of these superhero movies coming out today, Marvel and DC. But regardless, that is our thoughts on Avatar: The Way of Water. What did you guys think about it? I know the comments already telling the live chat's already telling us what they thought about the movie, but for people that are watching the replay, what did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Did it live up to the first movie? Was it a disappointment to the first movie? Are you excited for the sequels to come out? Comment your thoughts down below and let us know. I want to thank Mad Max for Movie Madison Entertainment for doing this collab stream with me. Go subscribe to his channel. Go check out his stuff. For people that are watching on his channel, if you haven't already, if you enjoyed this stream, you enjoy what I do, go ahead, check out my channel and subscribe too. But yeah, that's all we have for you. I think this is going to be. Well, no, I don't think this is going to be the last stream of this year. I probably have like 1 or 2 more streams before the year is over. But yeah, so I still have some content coming out before the year is over. I have a special Christmas review coming out tomorrow, so tune in. So check in for that.
This is a surprise.
It is a surprise. If you guys have been following my channel, I put a poll out. So I asked the viewers out there which Christmas movie you want me to review. It is between Elf, Home Alone, Christmas Story, and The Grinch with Jim Carrey. So we do have a winner, and you will find out who it is tomorrow, Christmas.
Awesome.
So yeah, that is all my stuff. Anything you want to plug before we leave out here?
No, thanks. I appreciate DL taking the time to do a structured spoiler review. I have issues doing that type of thing, but you run a really nice show here, and give him some support.
I appreciate it. That's why I'm here, to keep you focused.
Yeah.
Put some order in this piece. But anyway, that's all we have for you, and we will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.